Cole Palmer, incidentally, Martin, just as you were coming in the door this morning, called up to the senior England squad for the first time. So that's a nice reward for him. Do you like what you see in this boy? Do you think he's going to be a big star?
He looks at terrific footballer, I should say, and playing terrific football as well too at the same time. Settled in there at Chelsea quite quickly after Manchester City. I suppose maybe he had a point to prove yesterday. They all would possibly say that. I thought he was nerveless taking the penalty kick as well too. So just a brilliant performance from an attacking midfield player. That's where I see him in at this minute. His first thought in his head is to pick the ball up and actually look forward, and the ability to dribble past players as well too is it's possibly a dying art, but I'm not so sure about that. Yeah,
what do we make of it, Simon? Here's a boy who's turned away from Manchester City, moved on from Pep Guardiola, and could well become one of Chelsea's most important players.
Well, he's not the first player to have decided that the first team opportunities for him at Man City might have been limited and move on. Jadon Sancho was obviously in that position. Interesting, because I had a couple of people when he was transferred from Man City to Chelsea questioning perhaps the boy's character, not his character on the field, but his outlook towards life and perhaps his discipline. That's not showing itself at Chelsea. I'm not surprised he rammed the penalty home. This is playing against a team that ultimately he's got perhaps a point to prove, so he stepped up and overcome his nerves. He's a good player. You know, he's a good player. He deserved to be called up into the England squad on the basis of what Gareth Southgate supposedly selects on. He selects on form. Mm-hmm. So, you know, with games like Malta coming up, which is the teams that we should walk past, I'm not surprised that he gives these guys an opportunity. He's got European Championships next year. If this kid has a season of the kind of substance he's currently having, then getting him in the mix, getting him blooded into an international environment, making that step into the full side and around the squad may well be useful for next year's European Championships.
Although he did say in his post-match interview that he was, before the game, the night before the game, he was really excited about this particular game. That excitement, when you mention that as a point, then perhaps maybe because of the opposition they were playing, maybe it had had some sort of an effect on him. I'm agreeing with Simon. You don't necessarily have to always prove a point against your. But
it's nice to do so.
Past team, absolutely.
Yeah.
But because it was so quickly afterwards, after his transfer, it probably had still some sort of effect on him.
I saw a very animated miniature Pochettino at the end of the game, Martin. Is Pochettino showing signs that he could be more than a bridesmaid at Chelsea? Do you think is he going to be up there with Klopp and Pep in due course?
Well, he's a lot of winning to do to catch them. A lot of winning to do. And I saw that little spat with the referee at the end. I don't know, my own view, I've done that in the past, so it was really for show more than anything else, I think. But there are nice signs at Chelsea. It was a really great game, I must admit, and Chelsea played their part. They eventually beat Tottenham Hotspur down to, I think Tottenham had 2 players on at the end of the game. But they've won the match. But I think he's a lot of winning to do yet to catch up with Guardiola and Klopp.
You agree with that, Simon? I mean, in
course.
The past you've said a fair bit about Pochettino, but now we're seeing him. We're seeing what he can do.
I've also said that Chelsea can win a league in the next 3 years. I've also turned around and said that Chelsea will be competing at the top of the table. So what he's doing is showing this wonderful opportunity to manage this embarrassment of riches that's been bought for him. So it's inevitable that Chelsea are going to start finding some form. This wasn't going to go on forever. The fact they got a win against Spurs gave them the win. Spurs handed to them. So, you know, with the best respect in the world, Chelsea got given their head, but they scored 4 goals against Manchester City. They've played well. So I'm not surprised that Chelsea are beginning to regain their poise, beginning to get themselves together. I don't doubt that Pochettino will get Chelsea in and around the top 4 sooner rather than later. It doesn't alter the equation that this fella is not going to be overtaking Klopp and Guardiola anytime soon.
Why?
Irrespective, because he's not good enough. He's not in the same bracket as those managers.
But what do you base that on, Simon?
I base it upon looking at the way that he manages, looking at what he did at Tottenham Hotspur, which was great, getting you close to having a whiff of winning something, but not actually winning anything. Going to PSG, seeming to want to leave PSG after being there for 5 minutes, doing what every PSG manager does, which is win the league but nothing else. And coming back to Chelsea in the same sort of position, a bit wiser perhaps than was before. I don't see him as having that winning gene. I see him as being...
Has he not got the foundations to do it, though? I didn't see him overthrowing Pep or Klopp when he was at Tottenham, for sure, but now he could.
Well, I don't think he'll be the person that takes Chelsea to the place that they want to be. I think he'll be part, a bit more than the part that Eddie Howe, I believe, will play at Newcastle. But I believe that he'll play a part in making sure that Bowley starts to understand what really running a football club involves and what really employing managers that are capable of winning leagues involves. But Pochettino is one of the best of the rest. And there is a very unique gang. They're a very small gang. Because I get tired of this.
But De Zerbi's in the best of the rest.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking
knocking
about I'm talking about the elite gang.
Unai Emery.
We like to use the term world class for players and spray it around like confetti. And there's only a few of those around, but everyone that has a good few games is world class. There's only a few elite managers. Ancelotti's one of them. Pep's one of them. Clearly one of them, and probably the top of the pile. And Klopp. And I just see that Pochettino is a very good manager that will get a decent Chelsea side in and around the top four.
Man, this is your field. We're talking managers. Who's elite and who's not? Have we only got Klopp and Pep, who are the elite?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about elite, you're talking about managers who have won consistently, who are serial winners, and that's and what they've done at their football clubs. And Klopp and Guardiola stand out. Obviously, stand out. Taking on Alex Ferguson, serial winner for years and years and years. Yeah, I'm talking about Arsene Wenger. Arsene. Maybe not my favourite character, but a terrific manager. Really, really terrific manager. Oh, we had a few little spats in the past. Nothing to write home about. But I must admit, but seriously, a brilliant manager. No question about it. Yeah. So, but you have to be winning. You have to be winning a lot to be put into that category. And if you've got the wherewithal, hopefully Pochettino looks as if he has that now, then perhaps maybe in the next couple of years we could be talking about that. But you have to win.
Do you think he has? Give us your forecast. Will he join the elite?
Well, I wouldn't. A forecast. Listen, I wish I could forecast things like that. He has the wherewithal at Chelsea now. And there are certainly signs of a bit of recovery. There's no question about that. They played brilliantly yesterday. Really good performance. They've got to keep that going.
Okay. So it was honours even at Stamford Bridge. 8-goal thriller. That was something else. I was at West Ham, as I said, and a great finish to that match. I would have thought West Ham fans, to a man, to a woman, would be very glad with what they're seeing right now, because going well in Europe, again, top of Group A in the Europa League, and seemingly going all right in the Premier League, a respectable middle-of-the-table position just before this international break. How do you feel about David Moyes? You're going to hear a one-to-one with me and Moyes post-match from yesterday later on in the show. Not for the first time, though. Managers going after officials again. Should emotion be a get-out? Do apologies temper punishment? There's a few in the frame to look at in that area. 10:15. Busy Monday morning.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.